welcome to Make Kind Loud, conversations that turn up the volume. I am super excited to be talking to Ashley today. Hello, Ashley.
Hello. Thank you for having me here, Louisa.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you so much for saying yes. I'm excited to chat with you about the inner athlete and all things health and wellness and everything.
Yes, I can't wait.
Cool. So I'm going to read your bio and then we're just going to jump right in. Does that work?
That works.
All right. In her work as a spiritual health practitioner, Ashley awakens women athletes' intuition and spirit, inspiring them to move from their heart and highest potential for a fully expressed life. After a combined 17 years in clinical research and public health, Ashley has written and co-authored 20 plus health-related publications, and having experienced both the clinical and practical aspects of the health sector, she now knows what it takes to shift someone from stuck to free. It takes on the true story of your body. So welcome, Ashley. I love that, from stuck to free. So tell me what that means.
Yeah, so a lot of times, as you may have experienced in conversations with other women and men, we have a story around our health and fitness. We either say, oh, I'm not athletic, or, oh, I tried this diet and it doesn't work, or oh, yeah, I used to be able to do this, now I can't. So there's some sort of that could be where we're not being in action.
Okay.
Because of those stories we tell, or possibly taking actions that are actually a detriment to our health.
So like sabotaging.
Are we frozen?
Oh, hold on. Are you there?
Uh-oh.
1 second. Let's see. I'm going to pop you back in. All right, we lost Ashley for a second, but she's going to pop back in, and I'm excited about talking to her. She was just talking about taking action, or sometimes taking inaction and doing stuff that's opposite of what you need. And so as soon as she pops back on here, we're going to talk more about that. So yay. All right, let's see. Let me message her real quick. Hi.
Hello. I don't know what happened.
I don't know either. It's technology. It's fine. Yeah. We're good.
Okay. All right.
So I was saying, so you were saying that sometimes the actions that you take are a detriment. So it's like you're sabotaging yourself.
Yes. So, and people can be overdoing the exercise, the nutrition, that kind of thing as well. So yes, sabotage.
Yeah. So how do you get from stuck to free?
You meet your inner athlete and you go on a deeper journey inward, versus placing all expectations, all actions on external, your external looks, your external reality, your external actions. It's really about connecting inward, connecting with your most energetic, strong, and alive self.
Yeah.
And actually embodying those qualities, and being devoted to that in a sense.
So really getting to know who you are to your core, basically.
Yes, to your core, and connecting it with your spirit. So when I think of spirit, I think of joy, play, ease, flow. So that can be more of a feminine aspect, the play, the joy, the fun, versus this kind of hardcore masculine doing.
Yeah.
It it allows us to harmonize, because of course you need to take action, but harmonize that doing and with the being. And a lot of times people are missing the being
Mm,
aspect of it.
yeah. Oh, that's deep. I love that. I love that. You
Yeah.
posted something last week, a couple weeks ago, I'm not sure. And it was about
Mhm.
intimacy.
Mhm.
I
Yes.
loved that post. So let's
Yeah.
talk about intimacy and what you mean by meeting people where they are and all that.
Yeah. So I put a quote in there by Matt Kahn that says that basically along the lines of the your ability to go deep with somebody or be intimate with somebody matches your ability to do that with yourself. You have to start with yourself first. And so, intimacy, I really see as an avenue for going inward, as I spoke about, and an avenue for a deeper connection with yourself and then a deeper connection with others. Because once you have it with yourself, like the quote says, you can make that, you feel more free,
Mm,
and more adventurous to explore more in relationship, um, whether that be friendships, whether that be intimately, but it takes a relationship, even with yourself too, from a superficial level to um, more exploration, more adventure, more fun. So it always, to me, always comes back to that fun, joy, ease, play. You know, the place that we all want to be, because we feel like overwhelmed and heavy with things all the
yeah,
time, and because that's how we start feeling in our bodies, and that's where people have that stuck feeling, and like, I just can't get out of this, and it always
yeah,
feels like you're climbing up the hill and you never get a break.
yeah. That's a good
So
point because
yeah.
life can be heavy, but it's also
Hmm.
joyful, and it just depends on which path you're taking and how you're living your life. And I do believe that, learning who you are and
Hmm.
being intimate with yourself helps with that.
The more you can know about yourself, the more you can ask for what you need, in relationship, the more that you can express yourself fully. And when I say that, I mean, I think a lot of times we're scared to ask for what we need or don't know how to communicate it. We might know there's something, but we don't know how to communicate it. And or the fully expressed part comes in when, for somebody who is very identified with their career,
Yeah,
very identified with their sport, and they make that what they lead with in life and try to lead with that on quote unquote all playing fields of life.
yeah,
And that's again where burnout can come in, that exhaustion can come in, and that heaviness.
yeah. Because you're
So,
more than your job and you're more than
yeah,
your sport. I mean, that's just
yeah,
something that you do, as you were saying
yeah.
earlier, but that's not who you
Hmm.
are.
Yes, yes. And I
Love,
want you to know who you are.
I love it. How did you get into this?
Oh, goodness. I've always, like, from a young age, I've always been interested in health and fitness and movement. Um, and so that piece has always been there. And then when I was 19, I was in a really bad car accident.
Okay.
And so that brought in like the physical recovery aspect from injury. And then that was a piece that I had had a couple more accidents, car accidents along the way. And it just brought in this piece of like, why is this happening? I got really curious. I started doing, because there was a lot of trauma involved in these
Yeah.
experiences, and I was told how that has an effect on your body and all kinds of things. So I started exploring there, and then just got deeper into exploring spirituality, who I am, being more than doing. And part of it is also because of what I've seen in my clients. So I knew what my own experience was, but then
Yeah.
also what I'm seeing with other people and where they're disconnecting or operating in this certain bandwidth or frequency that just is not working, and actually is, again, detrimental to our health. When we're not connected to ourselves and our
Yeah.
way of being, that is what causes chronic illness. That is what causes fatigue, burnout, all kinds of health issues.
Right.
So yes, I got into it in like a step by step, like a few really big things happened. And now, like, tracking it back, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm exactly where I need to be.
I love that.
But it was a lot through experiences and then exploring, not giving up along the way. Like, I just want to go deeper and deeper and deeper.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So what kind of advice would you give people who are just starting to get to know themselves and get to know their inner athlete and who they truly are?
Yeah. So in the sense of getting to know yourself, so the inner athlete is an aspect of self. And you have many aspects of self.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's where I think it's cool and for fun. Like, we're all multidimensional, and when we're able to play with ourselves in those spaces and like try things out, because we play roles anyway in life. Like, we play a role at work, we play
yep,
a role in our family. Like, let's have more fun with that. And really, like, where we can grow in these roles and really not attach our full identity to one of them, because then that's where we get into more of the suffering
right.
feeling. So how does somebody get to know themselves? I'd say that it takes creating space in your day. So whether that's at the beginning of your day, whether that's little chunks of time throughout your day, or at the end of the day, you have to create the space to sit with yourself. That might sound serious, and it can be at times, and other times it can just be to know what you want your day to look like forecasting your day versus letting your day run your experience. So creating that space is one of the first ways somebody can start tapping into and getting connected to the intuition, the other voice inside that is usually it's our
time.
that talks to you, wants to get your attention in ways, but it's usually the voice of, oh, you got to do this next thing, or oh, you're not good at that. Like, all the kind of negative chatter is what we often hear. So if you want to start amping up the voice on your intuition or your higher self, whatever you want to call it, even your inner athlete, you need to create space. There needs to be a little more stillness in your day. Time for you to just be with yourself. And maybe that's in the shower sometimes. I mean, that can...
You're literally by yourself.
Yeah. It doesn't... I like to create actual space and have the shower too. Like, I'm... how much time can I get to myself?
How much do I have of
yeah. But you were gonna say something.
I was just saying that's really important. So basically, you need to carve out time for you. I mean, the world is pulling at you, whether it's your family, if you have kids, if you have a significant other, job responsibilities, everybody is pulling you in different directions. But if you don't have that time for yourself to get yourself centered and ready to go, then that's when the chaos and the franticness happens.
And sometimes, so this can be tricky, we can take that time for ourselves and we can have an intention. But when we're just starting out, it's not going to be as fluid for us. We might not be able to stay connected to that maybe intention because we're used to being in another pattern of behavior. And so you can slip back into it, that doing, and I got to get this done and all of that. So it's continual repetition, practice, just like working out. You gotta keep trying. You gotta keep putting the reps in. You have to keep adding time to it, new ways of doing it. Surround yourself with other people who do the same, live the same. Because if you're around a bunch of busy people who are doing all the time and they don't value yet that stillness, they might think it's a great idea, but they're not implementing it. It's going to be harder for you to do that.
Right. So be aware of the people who are around you and basically who you're allowing in your space.
I think the other big thing is definitely, since we were talking about that self-talk, like the voice and what that voice is saying, and actually being an observer of that versus making yourself wrong for it or just shooing it away like, oh, I know I'm not supposed to be thinking that. I'm supposed to be thinking positive. It's not a like, oh, I'm bad or wrong because I'm thinking negative, or I'm being really good if I'm thinking positive, because you need both of those to understand yourself and kind of gain your ground and take your next action. I think the biggest thing is taking action from a place of stillness versus a place of chaos. Versus like the in the place of stillness is your centeredness. It doesn't actually mean you're being still.
Right. The place, the calm that's inside of you. The calm is at the core, but there's chaos happening all around you. If you tap into the calm, then that will help you in your day and help you, get to your intimate self. So how do we teach kids that? Because I think if we can start with the children and they can learn that as they grow. Like, do you have kids as clients as well?
I have worked with kids. I do not have kids as clients now. It has definitely been something that I've considered because here in Denver, they have like girls leadership schools and boys leadership schools. And I know they start out their day with movement. And I think there's so much still embedded in our culture around how girls are supposed to look and act and all of this, that having something like that and knowing your inner athlete at a younger age and like growing with it, because we're always going to be growing with it. It's not a fixed thing. That it's like certain points you keep coming back to and building upon. And I know right now that in schools they're doing like yoga and meditation practices, because I was actually reading an article where they're saying our generation and generations ahead of us have been living on that busy, and we need to change that. So they're actually implementing these things in schools. And I have worked with schools before in the past when I was in other job positions. So it's like happening. I don't know at the level it's happening. Like deep down, but I think it's happening. And I think it's important.
Right. And that's good that it is happening, and that we are recognizing the importance of tapping into your inner self, your inner athlete, your inner calm. And so that can make you even happier and more joyful and better citizens of the world, really.
You're more in service I think, to others that way, because you're taking actions from a place of your true self, which then ripples out to everybody else. Because
Yeah.
if we're all taking action from a place of obligation and people pleasing, and that doesn't help anybody, it helps no one.
Right. Right. It's just
And
something that you're doing.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
So,
totally agree, because I think we all want, or we have a society that it's in people pleasing mode.
mhm.
But if you're not pleasing yourself, then it doesn't work. And we're
Yeah.
still in that busy and that going and that the
Mhm.
obligations that we all have, instead of
Mhm.
leading with love and
Yeah.
walking in kindness and showing your true self to the world. And I think that's kind of a
Mhm.
scary thing too. Have you found
Yes.
people finding that that's kind of scary to show their self?
Yes. So when we don't know ourselves at a deep level, then yeah, you're not even gonna know what that is. But
Right.
then, I mean, just through my growth process, I was just in a place this year where I was like, there's this part of me, and it's the more spiritual soul part. It's been part of my work, but I haven't exposed it in this larger way. And I was feeling inside my body like there's a part of me that wants to come out in a big way, and I don't know how.
Yeah.
Even when I would get on lives to speak, it was like, there was a part of me, and it was probably like a little girl part that was like scared and freaking out, so she wasn't on board with it. So when I would try to speak, it was like
Right.
like
Right.
parts of it were coming out, and it just didn't feel good. And so, like, you have to have, like, part of being able to express yourself fully, you have to have all parts of you on board.
Yeah.
So you have to, that little girl part of me that was like, I don't know about this, or
Yeah.
my
What are you
ego, or
doing? What
whatever
are
else.
you doing?
Yeah, yeah, like this is not safe.
Right. What's happening?
Yeah, because your body will react to that. I actually, back in 2016, I had an experience like that. I was on a stage in front of 400 plus people, giving this talk. And I've given talks in front of people before, not that large of an audience, and not, it was my first time like coming out about the inner athlete.
Yeah.
And I had a moment, I just like, my body just froze. I kind of drifted off. And I was just like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to say right
Right.
now. I
I
mean, I
know.
recovered, but it
Right.
was like this, my body just wasn't down with it.
Yeah.
And until we integrate those parts of self, then we're going to struggle. So that's even another piece of it, um, to work through.
I love that. So how did you recover on the stage with 400 plus people watching you? You're drifting off and your mind is like, nope, we're not doing this. And then, so how did you
Yeah.
get that around?
I know I said, I was just honest. I was just like, I think I said something to the effect, I don't completely remember, like, I completely forgot what I'm supposed to say right now. Like,
Yeah.
hang with me for a second. And then I just brought myself back
Yeah.
slowly. But I know my body was just lit up with fear. Like, that's what it was.
Yeah. And you just had to, did you power through, or did you like,
I I didn't leave the stage. I did finish my talk, and I actually brought it back. And a lot of people, um, they thought that was actually really great because they could see. I think it was like they can see themselves
yeah.
in that situation because it was really real. Um, so I think that made people who may have a dream of doing something like that or see themselves doing that, and that if something does go quote unquote wrong and
Right.
you don't remember, it's okay.
It's
It's
okay.
okay. Like,
Yeah.
it's like we all have each other. You can be held, in that moment, and nothing bad's going to happen. It was like my body and whatever else was going on in my physiology at that time was, telling me I wasn't safe, but I actually was.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. And I love that you just
Mhm.
were honest and was like, I don't know. I don't know what I was going to say, but bear with me for a second. I think that allows people to connect more with you because, like you said, they can see themselves doing that, and they can feel the energy that you're putting out into the world.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love to you just are a light. And I
Thank you. You are
you're,
too.
thank you so much. And I love what you're doing, and I love the positivity, and I love the messages that you send out there about
Mhm.
your inner athlete, even if you're not a quote unquote athlete, your inner self, your inner
Mhm.
calm, whatever that
Mhm.
is inside of you that you need to get in touch with in order to
Mhm.
be your highest and best self in the world. So
Mhm.
thank you for doing that work.
Thank you. You're welcome as well. I should say you're welcome first, but also thank you for acknowledging all of that. So,
You're welcome. No, I feel it. I feel it. And every time your post comes up, I'm like, oh, it's Ashley. Like we're best friends,
oh.
right? Like, well, let me see what she's talking about. But that post about the intimacy hit home for me. And I was like, you know what? That is amazing. And more people need to read this and experience it.
Mhm. What did it, if you don't mind me asking, like what did it bring up for you or make you think? Since you said
It,
it hit home.
yeah, for me, it was just like when you said, I think the quote was like, you could only meet people or touch people from where they have already gone inside themselves. And so for
Mhm.
me, like when I'm meeting people, and even like when I'm trying to find my stillness and my calmness, it is like, who are you going to be? And are
Mhm.
you going to be in this world? And how do I get deeper with myself so that I can um, be lighter in the
Mhm.
world? And so that's what it got for me.
Mhm. I love that. It comes back to that be. Because it's a choice. It's a
Yeah,
choice in every moment how what we're bringing to the table or what
right.
we're bringing to the group that we're in. It's always a choice.
I concur with that. I say that every morning, like how you choose to live in this world, you have options, and
Mhm.
who you choose to be is who you are choosing to
Mhm.
be. And so, just
Mhm.
how do you want to be in this world? And so, yeah, the being and the doing um, is super important. And I hope people
Mhm.
understand the difference between being busy, doing, and
Mhm.
really being a light force in this world because we need more light.
Mhm. We do. We do.
So
We do.
that is awesome. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you. You are amazing. So please continue being who you are and spreading
Yeah.
your messages out into the world because we need it, and we need more people like you.
Well, thank you.
You're
Thank you. Thank
welcome.
you.
This has been Make Kind Loud, conversations that turn up the volume. Please go check out Ashley. She is amazing. She is putting out amazing energy in the world. And if you truly want to find your inner athlete, contact her and she can help you do that.
Mhm.
And we'll see
Yeah.
you guys next week on another episode of Make Kind Loud, conversations that turn up the volume. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.